Amazing summer ahead. We've got so many tournaments. So we're going to Moscow on Thursday, which is part of the Grand Prix series, and that is the most important for us at the moment because that allows us to try and get back into Hong Kong next year. And we're also going to Marcoussis in France, and then we're going to Exeter, and then we've got Poland after the World Cup. Then we also have 2 World Series events, so we're going to London and we're going to Paris because we were the highest European nation on the World Series last year. So those tournaments are all in lead up then to the World Cup in July. So it's an amazing opportunity, and I'm loving absolutely every minute of it.
It's perfect for kids starting to learn the game, develop the core skills like passing, one-on-one tackling, kicking, throwing. So it has all those core skills that you need for the 15s game, and you're sprinting, you're running, and your agility, all that. But you definitely need, I think, sevens in every country, every rugby country, because it's just so important with all those core skills.
You can just get some more opportunities here. You've got 7 guys on a pitch, so there's half the amount of people, there's more space. So say if you've been struggling in the 15s game because you're not getting the ball enough, you're not getting those breaks that you think you should be getting, you come down, you play a bit of sevens, you get that confidence back, you make a few breaks, you score a few tries, you get your one-on-one tackling down to a T, because every tackle is a one-on-one tackle. You miss it, the team's probably going to score a try. If they don't score a try, they're probably going 80 metres. So it really puts you under a lot of pressure, but then it also allows you to develop your skills and get your confidence back. And then when you go back into the 15s game, you're riding on a great wave of confidence and energy, and you know that you can back yourself in those situations, and I think it's proved, especially for a lot of those players going back to their provinces, to really been helpful. Adam Byrne, he played me in my first season. Tom Daly, who's just coming back from an injury. There's Barry Daly, Alex Wooten, Nick Timoney as well, Dan Goggin. There's so many players that I can name off, but those guys have all come through the Sevens program at one stage, and they've been absolutely flying it down to their provinces, and some have even got Irish caps.
Do you feel that Sevens, kind of providing you get into the World Series at the next attempt or in the next couple of attempts, that it could become its own standing thing where people aim to become an Ireland player for the Sevens team rather than aiming to get into the 15s team via the Sevens? Yeah,
I hope so. There'll be 2 pathways. You can go with the 15s game or you can go with the Sevens game. I think it's obviously it'd be nice that you can transfer from either or. But it just gives guys another option. Like myself, I wasn't tall enough to play in the centre at the 15s game, and that's where I kept getting knocked down. So this opened another door for me. It doesn't matter about your height or your size. Look, if you got a good decision making brain or you got a good pass or good kick, there's always something there for you in the sevens. 15s, it's just the physicality goes up. Guys want size on their team. So it's just a little bit more difficult, but sevens definitely opens up a different pathway for guys who want to go pro, and look, it develops all those core skills, as I said, and all of a sudden you could be in the 15 side the next couple of years after doing sevens.
Because if you ever Google top 10 sporting events in the world, Hong Kong is always there. Just how good is it?
I've been very fortunate. I've been the last 2 years prior. I was playing in the 10s tournament with an Australian team, King's College, that I studied abroad down there. So I kind of had an idea going in before. And my dad actually played in the Hong Kong sevens as well before it was professional. So
he played with Moss Keane, I understand.
Yeah, he actually did. Yeah, there's a photo of him and Moss Keane somewhere in the house.
Right,
so
okay.
Yeah, it was amazing for me. It was a really special tournament. Being able to play in the same tournament that my dad had played in, but then also being able to play with all these amazing players. It's wild. It's absolutely crazy. They pack all the fancy dress guys down in the south stand, and then there's just an atmosphere from 9 o'clock in the morning. It's something that everybody has to do. It's the number one for me.
All the other smaller countries, they absolutely love it. Like we were in Bosnia and Croatia a couple of years ago, and they just absolutely love it. They love the party environment. They love the fast nature of the game, and it just brings a sense of excitement to everybody, all the fans and all the players and staff and everything. So it's just a good sense of enjoyment and just fast nature game, and just you get a different feel for every game as well. Different game, different vibe. One game could be a stop start, one game could just be quick as hell. So
So with sevens, there's a little bit less of a technical aspect to it because you don't have the likes of props and hookers. So those are very, very technical aspects of the game, especially with the scrummaging and the lineouts. Again, we do have scrums and lineouts, but they're broken down to a more basic level where it's just front row versus front row. So you're kind of just pushing. You're not getting very, very technical in those aspects. So it allows players to get in and just get stuck into the game straight away. Because there's less people, you get a lot more repetitions in during training and during games, so that means you can develop your skills a little bit quicker, whereas in 15s you might stand back because you're maybe a little bit nervous coming to the game and you see that everybody might be that little bit more developed than you. So I see sevens definitely as the pathway for growing rugby through developing rugby nations, and then some of those players then will go play 15s. A lot of the best sevens players for those nations like Germany and Chile, they actually do represent their 15s team as well.
Rugby, particularly in 15s, has gone to become almost like a size economy where the kids are getting bigger every year, and the schools rugby, like, they're growing to such an incredible size. And you mentioned it there yourself. Like, I mean, in terms of your own career, did you kind of park 15s now because people told you that you were too small?
No, like I kept going on. Like, I obviously my first time here, and it was not getting selected for the Irish under-20s because of my size, and there's a couple of injuries, and I got back into the squad, and I went to the World Cup, which was great. But no, I haven't fully parked it. It's on the side at the moment because I want to give sevens a good go and see where what I can get out of that.
Yeah. Is it sevens where you think you're going to stay now?
Personally, yeah, I do. I absolutely love the game. I find that I'm suited more to the game. With 15s, I just think that there's just too many people on the pitch, and I'm thinking a little bit too much. And I just find when I get into the sevens that my mind is at ease and I'm able to think a lot clearer, and I understand the game that bit much better. So yeah, I'm really hoping that sevens will be the pathway for me. But again, can't tell the future, and we'll have to just see. Yeah. So the Grand Prix is our route into the World Series. We have 4 tournaments, as I said before, starting with Moscow. And it's basically points accumulation over 4 tournaments. So the higher you come, the more points you get. And there's 3 spaces allocated to the European sides in Hong Kong. So we have to become one of the top 3 teams out of Europe that are not on the World Series. So the likes of England and France and Wales, they don't count. It'd be more us, Germany, Italy, Georgia. It looks like Russia might be coming down from the series this year. So they're going to be a part of that as well. And once you become one of the top 3 teams, you go to Hong Kong in April, and then it's winner takes all there, where you face all the other repechage countries. So the North and South Americas, Asia, Africa, all of those have teams coming. So it's winner takes all, and best is the best. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure many people would have been watching this year in April when you went to Hong Kong. Obviously, the disappointment against Japan is what a lot of people would remember. But at the same time, it was the men's sevens team being in the national picture over here in terms of the media, which is a good thing. But although at the time, I'm sure there was very few positives that you actually felt at that moment.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to play against Japan, unfortunately. I picked up an injury earlier in the tournament, but it's an amazing tournament, and it's the best in the world. It's the granddaddy of them all, as they say, Hong Kong. It's been around forever, but it's very, very difficult to go in on your first ever try and win the whole thing. The boys put in an absolutely amazing effort. It was literally a bounce of a ball that was the difference in that game, and then going into the final, it would have been against Germany. We've played them a lot of times, so I would have backed our team to have gone through the whole way. But look, that's sevens, that's rugby, that's why we play it. It's high energy, it's so quick, and again, a bounce of ball was the only difference between that game. But an amazing opportunity to be able to represent our country and put us on the world stage. We don't get to do that often. Sevens is growing in Ireland, and no doubt it's only going to get bigger, and hopefully we can get onto the series next year and grow the sport even more.
Is it fair to say that sevens would kind of reward quick thinkers a little bit more?
Yeah, it would reward quick thinkers, good decision makers, and you got to be on the ball. You can't afford to make any sloppy mistakes or silly errors, missing tackles as well. So you just got to be on the ball the whole time, focus in straight away from warm up into the full-time whistle.
Is there a tactical breakdown when you're playing in sevens? Is there a huge gusto in terms of what you're actually going to approach in terms of your opposition, or is it off the cuff, as some people may actually use that brush the tar sevens with?
We always have a plan going into a game. The plan will always change a little bit depending on who you're playing. So when it comes to kickoffs, we will have evaluated how a team sets up depending on certain kickoffs, and based on that we will look to put the ball in a certain place. So we'll either try and put it out near the wing because we think that they might be weaker there, or we might put it down the middle because we think that we've got a better opportunity there. Attack wise, we usually try and keep our structure to the same, because it's very hard to just keep changing your structure. You can't have 6 structures to play 6 different teams over a weekend. So there might be little points here and there where we might say, okay, they might be a little bit weak around the breakdown. We're going to go around the breakdown and attack there and try and get some go forward ball. And then when it comes to lineouts and scrums, basically you just have to see where you are on the pitch and kind of get a feel for it, and just you have a good understanding of kind of what works and what doesn't for you, and you have to just rely on your skills. And then every now and again you just have to see what happens. The game plan might go out the window, but you can't let it go away too far, otherwise you're not going to be able to play a game.